is the Going On Daily Live morning show. Oh my God, I feel like I've been on a month-long vacation. First show since last Thursday, and I'm telling you, I am so refreshed that I I went to sleep late working on the show, and then I woke up at 5:30, pumped, ready to go. 5:30, 5:30 in the morning, and I'm like,
That's
okay, is it
hardcore.
time yet? I am Ron, and of course, we have JJ up top here in Tony's first episode. How are you,
Finally.
Tony?
Finally.
Yes, finally, we finally get you in. This is going to be a great show. And I'm telling you, you want to stick around for Ron's top 5 today, especially you, Kenny. Kenny, you need to be here because you're going to be so upset at my top 5, and I cannot wait. It's killing me. Killing me. All right. So you are watching us on all of these fine social media. YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook at RI Broadcasting, and of course, Twitch. Can't forget about Twitch, RI_broadcasting. So Twitch, you can send us bits. So if you send us a couple of bits, that will let JJ put in her 2 cents.
What?
And then if you're on, if you're on Facebook, you can send us stars. They're just like bits. They only cost a penny each. That way, Tony would be able to put his 2 cents in.
That'll have people taking away bits.
So get on that, support the show. But if you really want to support the show, then you need to be doing the Patreon thing. Get on Patreon at RI Broadcasting, and you can get some merch like this awesome mug. I love this mug. I've got my tea in it today. Sometimes I have orange juice. Sometimes, chocolate milk, whatever. Sometimes a little extra. Sometimes.
Is it one of those mornings? Is it?
No, today is not one of those mornings. I've only got the tea. I've had those mornings where nothing goes right, and I maybe put a little Bailey's in the hot chocolate. Just a little bit. Just a little.
So what you're telling me is this isn't necessarily a morning show. It's actually an intervention.
That's right. This is therapy.
Yeah. I would say, therapy. That's good.
It is.
I think it is. And everybody at home should feel the same way.
That's right.
So we've got Becky out there from Two Girls Without Cancer. Good morning.
Good morning,
I
Becky.
love how she says good morning, JJ and Tony.
But no Ron. No love for Ron.
No love for Ron. I don't know what to think of that. Does she not want to do a show with me anymore? So, look, we've got some great topics today. I cannot wait for some of these. It's going to be outstanding. So this is season 2, episode 71, The Mighty Heroes. Now, if you know anything about what I do with the titles, it always has something to do with a segment in the show. So be looking for that, The Mighty Heroes. We've got a special visitor in Rhode Island this week. Tony's going to be talking about that. Team Blake and Team Justin. Now, this is the first I've heard of this.
What?
Yes, believe it or not. I have not heard of this. I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up to find out even who we were talking about.
Oh my God. I'm about as obsessed as Candace Owens on this thing. Like I'm in deep.
Yeah, I cannot wait to find out what the heck happened here. Tony, you also have some summer side hustles, right? And that might be something really important. And we had this topic on, and I just as we are speaking, I just got a notice for the Easy Pass toll that I supposedly have to pay.
No, it's a scam.
It is.
I got the scam. I also got the scam.
I've gotten 3 or 4 of those texts. I had to go look it up to go, is this a scam? And yes. It all came
Well,
out.
joke's on them because I don't drive anyway.
Yeah.
I don't drive anyway. So good luck in trying to collect that one. The one that makes this, and I can't wait for that topic, and I'm not going to give it away because that is going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And then I have something. My topic is plastic surgery. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be
like
startling.
yay or nay, or
Oh no, you'll see. You'll
Okay.
see. That's coming up. Becky's gonna be all over that one. All over it. All over it. She's gonna be looking it up. Watch. All right, so let's jump into it now that I've blabbered away for like 6 minutes talking about nothing. So let's go into the opening story. Chef Ramsay visits Narragansett, Tony.
And I
saw him
actually
on the
have
news.
I have my NDA pulled up actually on my other screen here, so I don't get myself in trouble because this show isn't sponsored by any lawyers, so I won't get any pro bono work if I screw anything up. So
There we go.
now, there's one thing that'll come up probably many times if I'm on this show long term is that I love to work and I'm also cheap. So the two go hand in hand with this because I responded to an ad that was for a free brunch. And that just sent off all my bells and whistles. Free food. It's in the neighborhood. I could walk to the establishment. I was so excited. And what it actually was, I'm in Narragansett. I'm in the tourist area of Narragansett. Yeah. So, things are nice and quiet right now. There's no party yet. And the restaurant was literally 2 streets away from me. So it was an appeal for a free brunch. It was on a Sunday. I signed myself up. They said it was going to be a show called Restaurant Rehab, but what it actually is, and it's going to be on Hulu a little bit later this summer, is almost the same shtick that Gordon Ramsay does, except it's under a different name. So as I went in to have my meal, there were hidden cameras all around the restaurant. And we just kind of sat there and ate and commented on how the hospitality was, how the food was. This restaurant here is a great local establishment. So I don't think I'll actually get any camera time in the show because I don't think I necessarily had that many negative things to say. And with them kind of going in hidden camera style to fix up the restaurant, I think I had one little comment. We ordered coleslaw at like 10 o'clock in the morning and it wasn't looking too hot. It was probably yesterday's coleslaw. But because I'm the idiot ordering coleslaw at 10 o'clock in the morning, it was looking a little green around the gills. So that was the only thing that possibly I think I could get some camera time for. But the producers were there. They're rehabbing this restaurant. And again, Gordon Ramsay was on site over the weekend, kind of working with the owners to bring the whole thing around. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays off. I love hospitality here, and I think that this could be a positive, but also on those shows, if things were not looking so hot, it could be a negative. So it's, I guess, to be determined.
Oh man, I love Gordon Ramsay. I love when he goes off. You stupid cow.
Did you? Is it like
it's
that? Did you get to see
risotto.
No, so the portion that I was there, they were still doing the hidden camera type thing. That was on a Sunday. They had folks in Sunday and Monday, and then I believe the rest of the crew came in later that week. So I think what they did was they worked with the producers, they went over that footage, and then that's where I think he got involved to kind of work on rehabbing the restaurant. But the poor news photographers were out there in the cold and the rain all week, just waiting for Gordon Ramsay to show up. And it was just a little couple feet walk from his transportation to the restaurant. So those guys waited out there all week for a couple of camera shots, and that was it for the time with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the star power he brings, I mean, it's massive. Like, he's so recognizable. I don't even care if he's wearing a disguise. You can tell it's him.
Yeah. Well, his mannerisms, his presence, like his accent, like you can't. That'd be difficult to hide.
The man knows what he's doing.
I have to say that the producers did do a good job of keeping it as a surprise. Now, to further complicate things, Guy Fieri vacations in my neighborhood. So everybody was thinking this must be a Guy show. You know, Guy had been to that restaurant before for diners, drive-ins, and dives. So they did, to the last minute, they were able to keep it quiet that it was, in
What's
fact,
the restaurant?
Gordon Ramsay coming to town.
Yeah, what is this
it's
restaurant?
It's called Crazy Burger, New York, Narragansett institution here. Yeah, people love it. They come from New York and New Jersey. Folks come out of town to go there. They were really first on offering like a black bean burger and some healthier options. They have a great juice program there. So, like I said, I guess I wasn't aware of the shtick. I didn't have anything negative really to say about my meal, so that doesn't really play in with the premise of the show. But I was happy to be there and happy to get a free meal.
Is it a new owner? Are they going to redo the whole concept if it's
I haven't had a chance to go back yet. It seems like they've gotten some marketing support. So their social media looks professional now. They have professional graphics. They have professional videos coming through. So I think it is a whole holistic rehab as far as the restaurant goes.
Nice.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You only hope that the owners learn from this experience, because if you fail after this, man, you just blow an opportunity of a lifetime. And it's like all of those shows, whether it's cooking or bar rescue or whatever the show is, you gotta listen to these people. These people know what they're doing. And it's a shame when you see some of them like go out of business like less than a year after that.
Yeah. And hospitality is one of those businesses where I think people think that they get into it, it's just an opportunity to print money. They're going to make a ton of money, and it is really a slog. Those folks are working 15-hour days, razor thin profit margins. So it is great to see the opportunity for them to continue to succeed.
Yeah, and if one thing goes wrong, that sets you back months.
Yeah,
months. So, that's awesome. I'm jealous that you got that opportunity. They don't want me there.
You would have been like, "Where is Gordon? I need to speak with him right now."
And I love going to new restaurants and stuff like that, and trying them out. I do that pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So I've been hitting up so many places around Middletown now that I haven't gone previously. And so far, it's been fantastic everywhere I've eaten. So, all right. Chef Ramsay. So you didn't interact with him at all?
No, what I thought was cool about the way they did shoot it when I was there was that they used some technology where you really did not feel like you were on camera. So it wasn't the traditional, there's a 500-pound Teamster cameraman in your face the whole time. With an audio guy there too, with the mic and lighting, and people tend to freeze up in that situations, and rightfully so. But it really was a fly on the wall. They used AI. They used what appeared to be motion censored cameras that would pick up all the people, that would pick up the audio. There were producers there. The producers kept a low profile too, so there was nobody sending people in the direction. It was real, actual, natural responses to what they were.
So they just backed off and let the staff do what they do.
Right, exactly. And I believe the staff was also under the impression that it was this new show, but I'm assuming also they probably, in the back of their minds, knew kind of what was going on.
Right.
Kitchen nightmares all over again. All right. Oh, we're going to go from Chef Ramsay to surgery, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think most people are going to need to. You're going to need to do surgery. Plastic surgery, right? So I stumbled across this topic, and it's kind of startling, to be honest with you. It makes me very afraid. Let's put it that way. So microplastics are everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
look, I mean, we see what the ocean is like now, right? There's this massive thing of what miles of waste
Right.
pooled up in this one place. But microplastics are only 5 millimeters or less, and they are absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the ocean, soil, and in our water, it's in the air that we breathe.
Mm.
I mean, that's how bad it is. And when you start analyzing everything, you realize that it's inside of everybody's body.
Mhm.
And they did they did some research, University of New Mexico, I believe, and they have found that the average human brain may contain 5 plastic bottle caps worth of microplastics.
Yum.
What?
5 bottle caps. So I'm just stunned about that whole thing. So the New York Times jumped in on this investigation. And the study that came out in February from the University of Mexico, brain samples from 2024 contain nearly 50% more microplastics than those
Right.
from 8 years prior.
Ew.
So what you're telling me, Ron, is that when I was a kid and I'd take a Lego or I'd take a crayon and I'd shove it up my nose, and my parents would say, "That's going to hit your brain," I just shoved it in there and I made a day of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about the size of it too, right? You're talking like a Lego. That's what you got in your brain.
That's
So the little
alarming.
microplastic
Surgery?
pieces, it could be, well, I said plastic surgery because
Like,
when you start having diseases from this, it is the particles have already been found in human placenta, bloodstream, and even a baby's first stool.
Jeez.
so it's completely in our bloodstream.
It is
Yeah.
everywhere. It's in your
Mhm.
skin. It's in everything, and you're breathing it in. Just the dust in your house. Not only is that human skin, but it is also
Thanks, Ron,
microplastics.
for that.
I figured I'd brighten up your day, right? So it is linked to incognitive decline, reproductive concerns, immune system disruption, memory loss, hormonal disruptions, and developmental problems in children.
Wow.
This is what this is happening. So when they have these problems, I mean, it might be as simple as just taking the plastic out of your brain.
Mhm.
And that's why I named this plastic surgery, because like if it's literally like that spoonful right there on
It's
the picture, that's what it's like in your head.
ugh.
And remember when the biggest issue was, oh, you leave a water bottle in your car and then it gets some sun, you shouldn't drink it afterwards because you're going to ingest some of those plastics. So you at
Right.
least have a
Or
chance to
don't
triage.
microwave, like don't
Right. Yeah.
microwave anything in plastic and all
Yeah.
that.
This is
And
all from just
Yeah.
living daily life.
And it's in cosmetics, textiles, tires, clothing.
yeah,
I mean, it's in our food. So when they're processing everything, whether it's a plastic container, that plastic container gets cut or whatever they do with it, right? And there's always going to be little shavings.
Mhm.
Those shavings stay on that item.
Hmm.
And then you put food in that item. Therefore, you're ingesting it.
eating it. Yeah.
And those little particles are so small that it can go through your bloodstream
They're
and
getting
it goes
absorbed.
right
They're
up into
not
your brain or your heart or your
yeah.
lungs, wherever it gets clogged up. And therefore, we have all of this microplastic inside of us. So these mothers that are breastfeeding, they don't even know that
That's
they're
right.
harming a baby.
Yeah.
But the baby was already inside of her, and it was getting the microplastics in it already.
And I'll try to say this in the least grossest way as possible, but I was reading some studies about when men decide that they need to check on their fertility. In that situation, they're finding plastic.
Yes. Yes. And that's a big problem. This is all the reproductive thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this could be like the children of men kind of thing where nobody can get pregnant anymore. I mean, down the road, this is going to be huge. It's going to be a big reason why, people can't have children. It's going to be a big reason. Becky says, "Yep, huge cancer causer. I use glass where I
I'm with
can.
Becky.
I never microwave any plastic. No warm food or liquid in plastic."
Right. And I don't use plastic bottles anymore. I try to use glass at all. It's just, and I think we stopped talking about that. Becky, if you're a decade, 2 decades ago, it was this big movement of, make sure you recycle plastic, only buy plastic that has, the recycle symbol on.
Yeah.
Push to recycling. And then there was, or use glass, don't go and get in. I feel like that's been lost. That push, that message of the danger. Now it's coming back. Now it's like, okay,
a lot
now we're
of
seeing
people,
the results.
Yeah, this is just because, okay, so it's easier.
The convenience, yeah.
The convenience of everything, right?
Yeah.
People are so busy with their lives, that stuff doesn't seem to matter. But in the long scheme of things, it really does matter.
Right.
Like we always talk about this on the show. It's like, how are people, acting this way? Or, why is there so many cases of ADHD or, all of these mental issues? Well, between what they put in the food and what we're putting in our bodies, that's why. There should be no question. The answer is staring at you right in your face, and people just ignore it.
Exactly. Was it?
So
Becky saying, tell my South Carolina family that recycling bottles is a thing. It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. It needs to be.
It is. And, we got to, it goes way beyond just a bottle, too. It goes way beyond that.
Oh.
There's so many things that we do that just waste. And we're all going to pay for it. We're all going to pay for it. And we've already done that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you
It's
have a
hard to walk
spoonful of
back a lot of
plastic
the
in your
stuff.
brain, I mean, come on.
Right.
I don't know. Becky, I'm always fishing them out of the garbage when they visit. Yeah, it's like, it's force of habit for me. Like, I always tell everybody when they come here, just put it in the paper bag that's next to the trash. That's all you have to do.
Try to
just put the bottles, anything recyclable, whether it's a piece of cardboard, whatever it is, put it in the bag.
Recycle. Yeah. 90% of our stuff is recyclable. It should be.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Think about that the list of things like tires. Like, they make playgrounds out of old tires. Why are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem. This is a problem.
Yeah, now they can do, there's a, Milliken, which is based out of South Carolina. I mean, they make threads out of recycled plastic. That they're trying to be in that, the circularity of things of let's bring that, plastic bottles. They turn again into a fiber, into textiles, and they're making, really what, like high performance, almost like a Sunbrella-esque type of covers and fabrics and stuff that are to keep stuff out of our oceans and our water supply.
Yeah, how about something simple?
There's a lot of people that do not recycle. it is a thing. I think your family needs to step up their game.
Yeah, they do. Um, Something as simple as what we used to do back in the old days, like the 50s. Not we. I wasn't alive in the 50s.
Like, how old
But
do
they
you think
used
we
to
are?
have milkmen, right? The milkmen used to come to the house.
Yeah,
They put it in the little box, with the bottles, and then they take the old ones that you
yeah.
have. And that is just so simple, right?
It
It's a simple fix to bottles for some of
yes.
them, right? Just that.
I'm gonna blow your mind here, Ron. So I grew up in North Carolina, in the 70s and 80s, and we I lived in a solar powered home that was also wood burning,
Wow.
and so we try to live as like off the grid, other than sewer and water.
Yes.
Um, but we had a huge garden, and my parents had bartered with so we had a dairy farmer that would, we would give them vegetables, and then they would leave the bottled. We
Right.
had the box on our front porch for, I mean, up until I moved to Indiana when I was 14, 15. But that was how we got our milk, and it was in the bottle, and it was cream top, so it wasn't fully pasteurized either. So you had to like scrape the cream off the top, and then my mom just reused all that. But yeah, my parents were,
Yeah.
my mom ground her own wheat to make her
That's
own
what it's
bread. We
supposed to
had
be.
very little processed anything. We were not the fun house to come and spend the night. Like, you would open up the pantry and it'd be homemade granolas and breads. It was very little packaging. There's, no Fruit Loops. I always had to go to no chocolate milk, nothing like you would
Oh,
see in a typical home, I think.
I always have a thing of chocolate milk in the fridge.
Like,
Hey, and I use a milkman here, and the name will remain nameless since they're not paying us, but it is a fantastic
we
opportunity.
don't have
Think
that
about
option
it.
down here.
I
We need to
love
do
my
it.
milkman. I gave him a Christmas card. We try to remember when it's his anniversary and leave him a little something extra.
It's a
It
good
is
thing.
Some of the items are a little cost prohibitive, but if it's something that you're interested in, there is,
It's
I believe,
expensive
one
anyway.
option.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should look
yeah.
into. I know there's not. I mean, we've got. We live in town, in downtown Greenville, but we've got 13 chickens and a couple of rabbits, and when they breed, we give those rabbits to a couple of French restaurants and some chefs here that they put into a stew. But we have not found a milk barter.
Hmm.
Need to look into that.
Yeah. See, this is what I love
Didn't know it
about
was a
doing
thing.
topics. All these topics. Look. This started out as microplastics, and we're talking about recycling and milkmen.
Yeah.
That's right. Milkman. Becky's like, milkman is a very foreign concept.
Hey, and listen, to bring it all the way back with the microplastics, you don't have to worry about the milkman impregnating your wife.
That's
Oh,
right. Right. Exactly. The mailman is suspect, though. All right, let's talk about this Team Blake and Team Justin thing. I need to
I'm ready
know
to
what's
learn.
going on.
all right.
Inform me.
So I know you had to go look it up, right? But Blake Lively and was in a movie called It Ends With Us.
Okay, I just watched that, so I have 1 point.
All right. So the director and the producer, I mean, Justin Baldoni, is another actor, but he has a studio called Wayfarer Studio that has a shingle with Sony. And you have to remember, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, has also a shingle with Sony, with the Deadpool and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin had bought the rights to the book. Was the producer of this, was also the director. The author of the book suggested that Justin also play the male lead in the movie as well. And it was interesting. Now there's lawsuits going on, and you know, at first when it came out, I mean, when the premiere happened, I remember seeing the red carpet and stuff, and you could just feel the weirdness. It was because there were no pictures with Justin and Blake. They didn't walk the red carpet. I mean, he is the producer, director, and lead actor, and all the other cast was in pictures with Blake and Ryan and everybody. And it was, you know, it was all about bring your florals. This is a romantic comedy, or a romantic comedy drama movie. That was like her shtick on the red carpet. All of his press interviews was like, no, this is a domestic, you know, this is a movie about domestic violence, and it sends, you know, this is a teaching moment. This is a lesson for men and women, and of how to overcome and find hope. And so, like, the two different camps, it was very clear of two different messages. So, you know, when the movie came out in the theaters, there were a lot of people walking out going that either read the book and were kind of turned off by, this is not, is it the right concept of a movie? This, you know, because Blake is saying it's a romantic the book is not that. But the movie is true to the book. Or people that went to the movie because they were fans of Blake and Ryan kind of came out of the theater going, whoa, that is not what I thought it was going to be. This was a heavy, serious, you know, movie. So it was interesting watching all that. And then about a month or two after the movie premiered, Blake filed a lawsuit against Justin, calling him, you know, for sexual harassment, for not making the set being a safe set. And let me back up. The other reason she kind of filed a lawsuit is that during the press, people were criticizing her press interviews, going like, there was a lot of critical people coming out going, I've read the book, you're not describing what the book means, like, and why are you making it so lighthearted, and this is weird. And then people are going seeing the movie and, you know, bashing her. And so that was her lawsuit, was like, oh, Justin, you did not only make me feel uncomfortable on set, but also you smeared me. You know, people hated me during the launch of the movie. So, you know, and then she got the New York Times to like write, you know, gave them a kind of, what do you call it? Like a pre-check of all the lawsuit documents. They posted all that. And so you had this whole, like, everyone hates Justin. And, you know, this, you know, Justin, he's, you know, sexual harasser, he's toxic, he's, you know, and then it kind of, everyone was like, oh, well, then that makes sense of what happened on the red carpet. And then he came out with his lawyer and was like, oh, no. Let me show receipts. And because she only posted and put in her lawsuit, like, if there was a text thread or an email chain of 10, 15 pieces of, you know, commentary, she would pull out like one to make him look bad. He gave then the 300 pieces of documents of, no, let me tell you the full thread. Here are text messages, here are emails. Let me show you the full context of everything. And it was like wild. Candace Owens kind of got, you know, dug deep in that, which this is not a typical thing she would dig deep in, but she looked at all the stuff along with like the TikTok sleuths have all kind of looked at all the documents, and you've got a lot of people that are like, whoa, Justin's the one that's really been smeared. And it really opened up a lot of people's eyes around the, you know, Hollywood power couple, the entitlement, the privilege. And I'm a team Justin now, after kind of looking at all this stuff and listening to all these TikTok sleuths and Candace Owens of how they've kind of dug into everything. And it's really kind of, I'm like, I love Ryan Reynolds, but it's even got I'm looking at him in a whole different lens. Because there's no end game. Like there's no other reason you would do this lawsuit unless you're trying to get book rights, but also, what you got tons of money. Blake and Ryan. Why? And it's just this bizarre fight of what is the end game to it, because it just makes them look bad.
Look, there's no reason for them to come out attacking, really, because I mean they've both got tremendous careers,
Right?
Certainly far better than Justin.
Right. I mean,
it makes no sense.
They're worth $1 billion. Like, but the fact that the studio, and he's got one of his investors that saw all this kind of play out of no, Blake was a bully on the set. She has coerced a lot of the cast and crew felt like I better side with her, Blake and Ryan, because they have so much power in Hollywood. And he was like, look, I will spend as much money as I can. I'm taking these people down because it is so unfair for them to be picking on the little people who are trying to do good in Hollywood. But yeah,
like
now a lot of stuff is surfaced
on.
Huh?
It's like a defensive switch that turned on.
Yeah.
And she got so defensive from getting criticized about how she portrayed the movie.
Right. But it was her own doing.
Right.
And then it's like the twist of, now it's come out, it's like people are not going, she was never harassed on set. She had complete buy-in. It's like the things that she was saying, and people are like, does she really believe these things?
Yeah.
Is that things have gotten twisted in her mind out of like entitlement or privilege? Or is it really this weird defense, of I need to win at all cost, and I will lie and deceive. But yeah, all these, Blake never had a really good reputation in Hollywood. When she married Ryan, she got to align with a lot of his goodwill that he had in Hollywood. So a lot of the people that are like coming out from decades kept going, yeah, this is how she's acted in every set that she's been on, from Gossip Girl to A Simple Favor. Even Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively's chemistry in the red carpet was bizarre. Anna Kendrick gave the best shade. I told you I'm all here for pettiness, right, Ron? Anna Kendrick was on the red carpet, and they, Blake Lively goes down the red carpet, and they're like, Blake, how was it to work with Anna Kendrick again on Simple Favor 2? And, Blake's like, I love it. We're best friends. We love each other. And then Anna Kendrick comes down the red carpet, and they're like, Anna, was it great to work with Blake again? And she's like, and she just keeps walking. So yeah, it's interesting to see kind of the, when people see who you truly are, you can say all the right things, but your behavior says differently. Right. And when they tell you who they are through actions and reveal to you who they are, believe them. And so
you gotta wonder their relationship between Blake and Ryan.
Yeah,
you gotta wonder what's going to happen the next year or so.
Well, that's what Candace is going down that rabbit hole of. Candace is predicting that this is a riff or a marital thing of that it's really Ryan kind of pushed the lawsuit because he saw maybe his wife falling for the co-star, director, producer, and didn't like it. And so that's where Candace's head is like really that Ryan is behind the lawsuit and has gotten really petty about it. And so, yeah, but then again, he, what was it? 2 weeks ago, he was like, his legal team sent a motion or a request into the judge to be like, I need to be removed from this. I really didn't have any. This is my wife's thing. It's like, dude, you were on set. You sent emails to Justin. You're in
Yeah.
the text. You did all the demands. Don't you can't say, oh no, this is their thing. You're in the middle
Backing
of
off
it.
now.
And also it's
Backing
like,
off.
dude, this is your wife and you're kind of like, I'm out.
And
So
it's
yeah, that's
crazy
why
for
Candace
me.
is like, ooh, I think there's a riff in that marriage.
It's crazy
Oh, yeah,
for me to think that a production of that size wouldn't have that what they call CYA. So I'm involved next
They
week. I'll be
do.
shooting. Okay,
Oh.
because next week
Oh.
I'll be shooting a movie that has like literally zero budget, and there's
Right.
someone that's going to work with me as far as the violent side of it. So I'm going to be feigning
Right.
some violence type stuff, and there's going to be someone that's in charge of coordinating intimacy there too. And
That's
it's
right.
literally
Well,
no budget.
they had an intimacy coordinator. Blake refused to meet with her and said, whatever you guys come up with, I'm okay. So that's why I said Justin, when he put out, his lawyer put out a website with all the receipts, the threads between not just Blake and Ryan and Justin, but also between Wayfarer and Studio and the Sony Studio, because Sony and Wayfarer, they're like, oh my God, she's taking over. She's like trying, like, just appease her. Let's just get this movie done, and so we can just like be done with it and be done with her. She's a pain that, like, so you see those kind of, and then Sony also released the threads between like Sony and Blake and her demands, and kind of she was going behind Wayfarer's back. I mean, so they put it all out there, so you really see, you paint the picture of Blake was hired as an actress and said, I really want to be, I want to be producer, and I'm going to take over this movie. It's wild to.
Nothing in Hollywood surprises me anymore.
No. But I was shocked when it was like, why? I mean, I remember when the lawsuit came out, I'm like, what is the end game of Blake and Ryan? You guys got so much money. And that's why I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's because it's standing up, it's sexual harassment. It's, this is, but it's when you start seeing like through that, it's like, no, you're using that as an excuse to basically bully somebody. And then it becomes what's the end game? Unless it's very personal jealousy. Petty.
Well, it sounds like Blake is gonna eventually need a new
Blake
job.
has ruined her chance of anybody ever wanting to work with her again.
Yeah. So with that being said, we got to stay on that story. That's an interesting one. So Tony, you have some summer side hustles.
Oh, you're going to love again, as we opened up the show, we talked about how I'm cheap and I love to work. And so I'll stay away from the, regular ones kids are thinking of, going out this summer and delivering pizzas and jumping on Uber and all the regular things. So probably one of my favorites, being a dog fan, is professional pooper scooper. So what that entails is an owner of a dog, instead of going out every day and cleaning up, they hire someone to come out. Usually it's with one of these big vacuum cleaners, and it just kind of sucks up all the poops. But some people do go out and do it by hand, and they'll come out once a week or every couple days, and they'll scoop all the poop on your property. So you just let your dog run free. You don't have to worry about keeping them on the leash or whatever it may be. And then you just leave it up to these pooper scoopers to come out and take care of it for you.
How much are
do you
these
get that job?
scoopers charging?
Is
it per load or is it per yard?
It is a situation almost kind of like the apps, where I've seen a few come out where you can just get it on demand, or you can sign up for a subscription, and just like a landscaper would come out in intervals.
What?
I guess it should depend on the size of the dog too, right? If you have a little French bulldog, hopefully that is a different rate than if you have a dog from the movie Beethoven.
Right, like we had a Bernese Mountain Dog. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this would be.
You could load a yard.
With St. Bernard's, you might have to rent like a small garbage truck.
That's right. Oh my God, that's crazy. But you know what? But if you really want to get your kids in good work ethic, There you go. Get them
Scoop
into
and
that
poop.
summer sidekick.
I just
So
can't
there's-
believe that there's a job for that.
So there's two, back to what we were talking about earlier, JJ, there's two related to chickens. So there is a side hustle where people that already have the chickens are lending out or renting out their chickens so people can have them for 2 weeks or half a month or 1 week or whatever it may be.
What for
to-
like?
Get a stash of eggs.
for the stash of eggs, but also for, what is called farm utainment or agutainment, for just the experience of seeing what it's like before they go out and get their own chickens, which I
Like
think
how
is
Humane
really cool.
Society has like you can foster a dog for a day or a week or whatever. So it's like that for chickens.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look in the.
Yeah. And then
And
there's
then
the
what's
other
the other one?
side. There's the other side of that side hustle where, so you've made the commitment to the chickens, just like the pooper scooper. There's chicken. This sounds awful, but there's chicken tenders that will come out and take care of the chickens for you in a regular interval, maybe, daily or weekly. They'll come out and they'll tend to that chicken coop.
Tenders.
So.
I love it.
You really do have the
Becky,
opportunity for
hashtag that one. Hashtag chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders.
professional chicken tenders.
That's
Someone
hilarious.
needs to also add a third side gig on that. Maybe it's the chicken tenders will do that too. Is when your chickens when they age and you have to cull them, basically you have to kill them. They've kind of been done producing eggs, which
I want
is
no part of that
not
one.
fun.
I
Not
don't want
fun
any
to
part of
do.
that one. No
You
part.
get a nice roasted chicken out of it, but it's not fun to do.
Yeah, no, that would not
Hashtag
be for
chicken
me.
tenders. There we go.
People do love that farm experience too, and
For a
I know
week.
folks. I know, and that's exactly it. If you're able to preview that, right? You have the chicken for a week. You're thinking about doing your own coop. You're thinking about investing, and then you have it for a week, and you realize, holy crap, this is gross. It's a lot of work. My neighbors hate me. I think that's going to have an opportunity for folks to not make that commitment. The folks that can't handle
Let me tell
it.
you,
Right.
I worked on a farm when I was a teenager, and they had chickens.
Were you a chicken
It was
tender?
the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And that is tend to those chickens when you have to catch them and clean after them. The worst. You do not want that experience.
Yeah.
If you want a farm animal, go cows or something like that, or a goat.
They
Don't go
stink.
chickens.
Yeah, they are not. And they play favorites. Like they love my kids, they love my husband, but I don't feel like. So when I go down there, and they come at me like, wow,
They're mean.
I'm like, how do you, my husband can have them following him around in the yard, like, like his own little flock. And all he has to do, he has a little stick that he just kind of waves to them, and then they get back in the pen. I have to like run around with my chicken, with my head cut off or something.
And depending on how close your neighbors are, I cannot think of a better way to make enemies with your neighbors than for them to see the chicken coop truck pulling up, unloading a coop and a bunch of chickens in your backyard.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. All right. Any more, Tony?
One more cool one quickly, and I'll try to keep out of the perverted side of this, but there is a human furniture situation. So people that have these high-end pool parties, they'll hire living decor. So it'll be a person standing there inside the suit of armor, or a person that is a human coffee table, anything like that. Yeah, these high-end parties, human statues that move every once in a while.
Have you been to a party like that?
I've been here to Waterfire where they have human statues, but it's a real high-end professional situation. It's not on an app, where you hire a kid from the neighborhood to come and stand around as a human, human
coffee table, chair,
like that. Yeah, anything, especially for pool parties. They have people standing. Well, I tried to stay out of that side of it. I'm trying to stay to the family side of it, but I'm assuming that people need money. I'll leave it at that.
Oh my goodness. That is
Oh, they don't
crazy.
have that dirty jobs thing on that employment.
Yeah.
do
Mike
I know.
Rowe needs to do an expose on that.
Hey, Mike Rowe could do a show about microplastics.
Oh, but
they? Microplastic.
That's $1 million idea here.
All right. Let me see. We're running out of time, but we're gonna get to the superhero thing. Let's do this.
Oh,
What
yes.
superpower would you want?
All right, Ron, which one would you want? What would you do?
Oh, I've thought about this many years. Invisibility. And the reason why, because you can see any event, anywhere, at any time, and nobody would even know you're there. I
That
could
is
go
a
to
good
every
one.
Super Bowl, every concert. I could go on a plane and fly to another country because they wouldn't know I'm on the plane.
That is good. I was going to do
Invisibility.
transport. Like, I don't want to fly. I just want to be able to go bing, and I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good one. That would be
the
that would be really good
transportation.
as well. I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
But if you need money, you can just go to a bank and just withdraw, and they would never know.
That's true.
Help yourself.
The other one I was thinking of was to read minds.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one because you could really manipulate.
Then you
people.
can really know what they think and manipulate. Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Those are
Tony,
good.
what's yours? What's your superhero?
In true Rhode Island form, I hate to drive. So like I have to go to an appointment today in Cranston. I am not looking forward to it. So I'm torn between just being able to fly there or being in the Flash and just being able to, I'm there, do my thing. I think that would also come in handy at the gym. You know, it really blows some people's mind to go to the big box gym here, hop on the treadmill Flash style. So I'm torn between the two. Do I want to Flash it or do I want to Superman it and just fly over there?
Yeah, that's good. There's so many choices. I mean, there's a lot of things that are very cool to have. It's like Green Lantern. You have that little ring. You can make anything you want. You know.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a plane, you just blast the plane
Get
right
into an
there.
invisible jet.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to everything. So,
right.
You know, and that's why it's like, you know, I don't know why people think Batman is so cool. He's just a normal guy.
He just has some really cool gadgets.
Who has some abilities, right? That
and a hard-looking button.
Yeah, he's got a great belt. He's got a great belt.
He's got a great belt. He's got a lot of money. He's got a cave. He's got some, cool vehicles.
Right. And that's the appeal. But he doesn't really have any like superpower.
No, other than just being.
That's why I don't understand.
Smart.
Like, he's not going to beat up Superman.
No.
People are crazy to
or
think
Wonder
that.
Woman. Come on.
Right.
And just think about it for all the guys out there. Now here's Superman, all this money, all this equipment, the hardest working butler around, and he still can't figure it out with women.
Right?
What hope do the rest of us have?
Show you.
Still cannot figure it out.
That's because Batman has all the money.
That's right.
He's the one that gets them. Oh man, he gets the girls.
He gets the girls, yeah. Because they can just stay at the other wing in
Becky
the castle.
says she would like to time travel.
Yeah,
that's
Becky,
a pretty
I'm
good
with you.
one. Being able to go forward and backward, especially backward, then you can go and win like Powerball or something.
Yeah.
And listen, there's Mandela effect people that think that the time travel is already happening, and that's why everything's all screwed up. So you could just not try to cause a butterfly effect situation when you're traveling around.
Could be. So if I just disappear off the show instantly, Don't worry, somebody just messed with time.
Yeah. I'm back at the original Woodstock, having a good time, and also painfully avoiding Woodstock '99.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. So, Kenny, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here because Ron's top 5. You're gonna love. Well, you're not gonna love it. You're not gonna love it. First of all, I do have to say that I'm not a wrestling fan. So here's the disclaimer. So you can't blame me for my opinions on this subject. But we're going to have the top 5 WrestleMania
How'd you get my old headshot?
Participants.
WrestleMania main event.
Are you a wrestling fan, JJ?
I used to watch it with my brothers back in the day, like, you know.
Back in the day, right? That's when I used to watch it.
Yeah.
Hulkamania, Macho Man.
Yeah, like the old school. Yeah.
Yeah, the good ones.
When it was on Saturday morning, you know. When
Right,
they had
yes, of course. So today, I decided to do that because it is Roddy Piper's birthday today.
What?
71. Would have been 71.
Yeah, it's his birthday. So I felt it was appropriate, especially with this weekend being WrestleMania.
Is it really?
It is. So, Kenny, are you ready? Are you ready, Kenny?
Top 5.
Now, Tony, you're a wrestling fan.
I am. I'm out of the loop on some of the mainstream stuff that's happening currently, though. So this is another learning opportunity for me.
All right. So there's many wrestlers that have participated in the main event on one night or the other night, you know, because a lot of times it is 2 nights. So people like Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Batista, Drew McIntyre, even Ronda Rousey was in the main event of one of those.
Was John Cena in the main event?
John Cena was in one of those main events. He's been in lots of them. Lawrence Taylor was also in one of those main events. The Big Show, Ted DiBiase, Bam Bam Bigelow, King Kong Bundy. Nice. Lots of them, right? My honorable mentions. Sergeant Slaughter. He was such a horrible... But he was so horrible, you had to like the fact that he was a great villain, right? Very identifiable, you know. Ultimate Warrior, also honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
He died too, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I think maybe 2018.
Yeah. Bret the Hitman Hart, honorable mention. And John Cena, I have as an honorable mention. You know, oddly enough, I've never seen him wrestle. I just like him in his movies. I think he's a funny man.
Yeah.
So I put him on the list. Here it is. There's the disrespectful right there. There it is. I take it I'm disrespecting John Cena. Is that what it is, Kenny? My bubble. The guy that was number 6.
Andre the Giant.
Hogan.
Oh, Hulk Hogan, yes.
Mostly because I've soured towards him because he's kind of a butt wipe. Yeah, to put it, cleanly. So those are my honorable mentions. My number 5 is Roddy Piper. I think he's hilarious. He was entertaining, at the least, right? I mean, this guy brought the excitement. I mean, there were times where he was really a crappy person, in the ring, but I gotta like him. I thought he was great. Becky says British Bulldogs, Jake the Snake, Doink, and Yokozuna. And I do have to say, I looked at all of the WrestleMania main events. British Bulldogs and Jake the Snake and Doink was not in the main events.
Oh.
Yokozuna was, but the other three are not. They were not part of the main events. Now, they could have been in WrestleMania, but not as the main events. So number 5 is Roddy Piper. Number 4 is the big guy, Andre the Giant. Oh, you gotta love it. And his appearance in The Princess Bride solidified him being in the top 4. Solidified that, right? It's Andre the Giant.
And think about that. That was before social media, before websites.
Yep.
It was a cultural touchstone of people at the same time sitting down on the couch with mom and dad and popcorn, watching that, and he, transported through pop culture in a time when it was difficult to do so.
Absolutely. Andre the Giant was just a legend.
Yes.
By the time WrestleMania came around, he was practically retired. But he did do
he did the cartoons for WrestleMania.
He did not win, but he was in it. But I liked him so much when I was younger that because he was in the event, he's one of my favorites. So, number 3, I have The Rock.
Wow.
I like The Rock. I think he's got a charisma. He had, when he's. I only caught the beginning of when he started wrestling, but I love him in his movies. I think he's a funny guy. There's a lot of questions on whether he's really a nice guy or not. I don't know. I don't care. I just like his movies, and and he was, one of the top guys in WWE. So, number 2, oh my God, love the character, The Undertaker. Oh my God, I love everything. Like, they should make movies about this guy. Like, seriously.
And he's renowned as actually being a nice guy, like in what is quote unquote real life.
Right. And like, the character itself is just brilliant. And Becky mentioned Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer.
I think he was creepier than The Undertaker. So I love The Undertaker. I just love that whole Kenny, don't hate.
And Paul Bearer was an actual certified undertaker in real life. He was a mortician.
Was he really? Exactly. That is awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing, the backgrounds of some of these people that get in that ring. You never know. I mean, when you think about it, it's an act. So they're taking something from their lives and they're bringing it in as one of those characters. And so it all makes sense. Right. Heartbreak Kid. Yeah, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, that's great. I don't hate Shawn Michaels. But
what about Ricky Flair?
He didn't make my list.
Did Ricky Flair? Is he on the list? Did he play?
Ric Flair did not make my list. I don't like him. I just think he's just so old and so out of shape. He would never win any of those matches. None. If it was all real, he would never win.
Actually, when he teamed up with Roddy Piper and they had the tag team belts, those guys were in their 50s. So think about that right. If you're trying to post it to real fights. Yeah.
Becky just told Kenny to suck it. Triple H. See, Kenny, I understand you like Triple H and all. I didn't watch wrestling with Triple H. I never saw him wrestle. Never saw him wrestle. So I could care less about Triple H. I don't know what to tell you. The old stuff was way better than what they have now. Hate to tell you. Number 1, one of the best characters ever. has to be Randy Macho Man Savage. Yeah.
That's a good, yeah.
Makes me want to have a Slim Jim right now. Step into a Slim Jim. That's the best I can do as Randy Macho Man Savage. That's the best I can do. But I loved him. I loved him. He was so colorful. You know, he gets the crowd pumped. You know, the point to the crowd. Just the whole act was just awesome. Loved Randy Macho Man Savage. Now, again, he's not my favorite wrestler of all time. But out of the ones that are in the main events for WrestleMania, that he was my favorite. Favorite goes way back when I was a little kid. Chief J Strongbow.
Nice.
You know, and Ivan Putski. Polish Power. And of course,
the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, see, like all of this stuff, that's when wrestling was great.
They do need to bring a lot of that, like.
Yep. I was just going to say, Becky, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And if he wrestled in that UK thing that you guys talked about yesterday, it would be Hacksaw Father Duggan. And also Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Oh yeah.
Those are my favorites. So yeah, that's that. So a little wrestling thing there.
That's fun to go back down memory lane.
I knew Kenny would hate my list. And frankly, I don't care. I'm going to be with you next week, Kenny, so you better bring it. Because I'm going to make sure I do one that you are not going to like. So that was pretty fun. Even, you know, like I had fun doing wrestling. Like, I'm not a wrestling fan by no means. But when you think about the historic characters throughout time, that's pretty impressive what they've done. I mean, they've been going at it, I don't even know how long as I've been alive.
You know, that was like late 70s, right? Late 70s, 80s?
Oh, it has to go
earlier
back
than
even
that?
before that. Has to be 60s. Because like George the Animal Steel, you know, I mean, Gorilla Monsoon, right? Yeah, and nobody remembers it. Now I'm really dating myself. WCW Hulk. Oh, there was also what, Sting and the Von Erichs. There's been so many stars of wrestling. It's like it's crazy how long it's been going. It's crazy. So, that's gonna wrap things up. Really, ending on you gonna watch the WrestleMania, Tony?
I'll be in and out. You know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and it's still a little bit too much for me. So it's actually starting Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m., going until about 11 p.m. And even your biggest wrestling fan is starting to get a little fatigued at the end of that. So I'll check in, see what's going on, and probably check out more than check in. But
yeah. All right. So Saturday, Lena and Ira are going to be here on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. That is going to be.
I'll be watching cartoons. That's why I can't be on.
That's right. I'll be tending.
So I'll be behind the scenes, but I will be here. I don't know. I know Ira's not a fan of my top fives either, so maybe I'll just jump on and do a top five for them. So we'll see. We'll see what Saturday brings. You know, so I would just say, you know, come back Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and see the show. It's going to be fantastic. And I believe Monday, I think I'm going to be with Martin. Tentatively. I don't know.
Watch out.
Becky's been making like the schedule for us. So it's so she's taking on a lot more of the show than, you know, so it eases up on me. And if I'm only here like once next week, wow. That
Take
could
a
very
vacation.
well be the possibility. I might have to jump in everybody's show and do top fives for everybody.
There you go.
All right, so thank you for being here. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Becky, for being here, and everybody else that is watching live right now. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share.
Sharing is caring.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, JJ. We'll see everybody next time. Have a good day.